Now, this is what we've all been waiting for. This is what I'm actually excited. The least newsworthy of our subjects today, but maybe my most anticipated, because we've been talking about for a while. We talked a few years ago a lot about Sammy the Bull and Michael Frenzies, these mobsters, ex-mobsters that are doing podcasts now.
Yep.
And they're in our outro. You can hear them in our outro because we poked fun at the idea that Sammy the Bull was just like a podcaster now. It's very weird to me.
What kind of statement is that?
Yeah. But now, a true gangster in his own right, Alec Baldwin, conducted an interview with Sammy the Bull. And so these are a couple of street guys. You know, they've both got their share of kills on their record. And Alec's going to interview Sammy. So I compiled some clips. This was conducted a while ago, I think back in January or something. And they just put it out on YouTube for free now, so you can go watch the full interview if you want. It's about an hour and a half, maybe a little less. But I found some of my highlights that I wanted to share with you guys.
Yeah, I'm the old-looking guy.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Can you hear me?
Good.
Look at you. Is this a custom neon bull? Is this your neon bull, or this is from like some product? Is this like from El Torito restaurant?
Is it from the old country?
Is it some WAP bull that I'll never be able to find?
There's a lot of, I mean, we're hearing the early phases of it, but there's a lot of Alec trying to relate to Sammy throughout this interview.
Yeah.
From El Torito restaurant? Or like, where'd you get this neon bull from?
No, I had it made. I had it made. This is mine.
You have your own. You have your own personalized.
See, why does he find that so funny? Sammy's like, I had it made, and he's like, pfft.
There's a lot. Alec is laughing at a lot of the shit Sammy says. I've got a great example later, but there's a lot of like, what is so funny, Alec? And I think it's just like kind of a, I really fucking hope this doesn't go sideways type of laugh.
Hope he still doesn't crave killing people.
Yeah. But Alec's got to be like, listen, I've got, don't come too close to me with a pistol.
Your own. You have your own personalized.
Yes. And I was just telling the story that we're not being taped right now, are we?
Yeah, we're rolling.
You're recording here, but
we're rolling?
Yeah.
All right.
You're fucking taping me without my knowledge? You know what happens when people do that to me, Alec?
No. I swear to God, I didn't mean it.
I don't want to say.
We'll cut it out. Trust me, we're not going to screw you.
That's always. By the way, that's how I know an interview is going to be great with a mobster is when the guy says, we're not going to make you look bad. The last thing I want to do is expose any harsh truths about Sammy the Bull Gravano.
We're going to move on here to, you just wrote sweet story.
I think this is charming. Yeah.
I thought they would. I mean, I'm coming in with a lot of baggage.
Yeah.
I had a 20-year sentence. So that's where
Two
all
different
these
times.
tattoos came from. What I did is I tattooed up and I said, as soon as somebody fucks with me, I'm going to kill him in prison. I thought I'd never get out of prison, and I would probably die in prison. So I said, I got nothing to lose. And that's what I'm going to do. I tattooed up. I put my prison hat on, and I said, the first person who fucks with me, I'm going to kill. And that's going to push people away thinking about coming over to me or fucking with me. So, but it really never happened. People started hearing and understanding the story. Even though I came back with baggage, I got along pretty good. I got along good with the ABs. I got along good with
What's an AB for people who don't know? What's that?
The Aryan brothers.
Right. Okay.
Good. Yes. So you were tied up with the Aryan brothers. That's good. That's fun.
This is very funny because Baldwin's such a liberal and Sammy is not.
It's the wildest. It's truly the wildest thing ever to watch because everything Alec is taking in, he's like, yes, interesting. Meanwhile, he's like, yeah, so I was going to murder the first fucking person that looked at me wrong in prison. Hey, I get tied up with the Aryan brothers. And Alec's reaction to every story he tells is, yes, interesting, of course.
Now imagine if it was a 24-year-old lady with a camera pointed at you.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get to these two relating on some
Yeah.
things.
Here we have ugly language. These clips aren't as long, by the way, just so everyone knows.
Yeah, well, this is like, we don't go for this kind of stuff, right?
That's right.
And so I had two extremely powerful prison gangs that thought very highly of me.
And didn't hold it against you that you testified. They didn't say you were a rat and any other ugly language like that. They didn't do that.
I don't mean to.
No.
I don't mean to curse in front of you, Sammy, but I don't call you a rat.
I don't mean to be crass, but you were a stool pigeon.
Any other ugly language? This man confessed to 19 murders. God knows how many he's actually committed. He confessed to 19 murders. And Alec's like, I don't want to, I hate to work blue with you, Sam, but may I use the word rat? We'll bleep it in post, but may I use the word rat in front of you?
You are a squeaker.
I don't want to cross the line, but I've got some cheese here for you. Cheese plate they told me you would like. I said, does Sammy like cheese? They said, oh, he'll gobble that up in 2 seconds.
That'd be so funny if he was doing that, but he didn't get why. He was just like, I just heard you like cheese.
No. Sammy, every week on my podcast, here's the thing. We have my guest put on these whiskers and rat ears, if you wouldn't mind. No, it's a thing we do with everyone.
Clara Bixby in the chat must be a new listener here. Hi, Mike. Love the show. Regarding the Baldwins, would you ever do a show on his current wife who faked being Spanish?
We've discussed it in the past. The problem is I'd love to talk about Hilaria. She doesn't post enough anymore.
No, she hit 1 million.
He's taken the mantle in terms of social media. I wish he posted more. But if you know of anything, we should. I mean, we've done like the cucumber and all of that. But yeah, if you know of anything, we should break down. Feel free.
How you say cucumber?
¿Cómo se dice cucumber?
Next here we have them talking about nicknames.
Alec loves this for some reason. And by the way, no one has submitted these names. These names haven't entered the conversation. They're all Alec just stereotyping Italians.
Yeah, this is Johnny Mop Bucket.
You're not far off, yeah.
I love how you're there and you're with the Aryan Brotherhood and the
Hold on, sorry, let me set it up a little better.
Obviously.
There's a guy named Cornfed. That's what he's talking about.
That's next.
Yeah. Well, so his prison mate is named Cornfed. So this is kind of where Alec is talking about with the nicknames. I don't know why he finds this so fascinating.
The Aryan Brotherhood and the Mafia that we know, they got nicknames. The Italians have nicknames like Bobby Bacala and maybe like Watami Scungils and this and that. But their nicknames are Cornfed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get what's so funny about that. But
you're going with the Sopranos character?
Nicknames like Bobby. Isn't Bobby Bacala just a short version of his last name? Isn't it Bacalieri or something?
Bacalieri, yeah.
Yeah, it's not even really a nickname.
Well, I think it's also a food, right?
I like that you people have nicknames like Glenny Balls.
Yeah, you have crazy nicknames like Polly Walnuts.
Imagine now this has been done before, I know, but imagine doing that to any other race. I understand you people enjoy watermelon and grape soda.
I have to do this game like weekly on my other show. Imagine, just imagine.
But I just find it funny that Alec is like, you got Johnny 2 times because he likes to say it. It's like you've just seen movies, Alec.
Imagine if Alec was talking to an Irishman like this. Here we have more on Cornfed.
Yes, we learned a little bit more about Cornfed.
And so they named him Cornfed. His name was Paul Snyder, his real name. And he has, I believe, 3 life sentences. He came in with a case. It wasn't a life sentence. he got 2 or 3 more cases, every one of them for murders in prison. He was a boss in the ABs, and that's what he's currently alive. And he has 3 life sentences plus 100 years. They'll never let him out.
God, that's funny.
Why?
It's so funny.
Can you go back a little bit? I almost want to play that whole clip again, but listen to what Sammy is saying. What Sammy's saying is profoundly sad on a human level. That
Yeah.
if this man were to live 3 lifetimes, he wouldn't get out of prison. Think about that. And meanwhile, Alec is like, boy, that's a silly name he's got. I'll tell
but
you.
it's also pointing out how terrible of a human he is.
Yeah, he's a monster. This man is a monster. And now
terrible.
he's like, but he does sound like a circus bear, though. That's a fun name. Listen to this again.
Should I start from the beginning or the middle?
You start from the beginning, so you can really feel the sadness on every level of the horror that this man has portrayed on others, and the suffering that he has to go through in the prison system. There's not a way you can spin this that's hilarious. What Sammy is saying.
And so they named him Cornfed. His name was Paul Snyder, his real name. And he has, I believe, 3 life sentences. He came in with...
right there, by the way. Baldwin just goes,
Oh,
Jesus, it kind of
that's
cracks
good
a smile.
My charges were dropped because I'm a big celebrity. So that, I mean, that's very funny.
sentences. He came in with a case. It wasn't a life sentence. He got 2 or 3 more cases, every one of them for murders in prison. He was a boss in the ABs, and that's what he's currently alive. And he has 3 life sentences plus 100 years. They'll never let him out.
God, that's funny.
Boy, I'll tell you, Sammy, I recently discovered Brian Regan's "I Walked on the Moon," and I thought that was a hoot and a half. But then when you told me that story, I said, Brian Regan, who? I said, this Sammy's got some A material.
This is actually Alec might strike again.
Well, hold on one second. Just 'cause I want to. This is how Alec. I don't know if he cares about his image because he committed a murder. Like, let's not you sugarcoat it. Now you can argue: was he at fault? Did he know the gun was loaded? All kinds of stuff. Well, how would we fare in the same situation? I understand, but Alec is talking to one of the most notorious hitmen in mob history, maybe the most.
Oh, for sure. For sure. He's not the most, he's the most well-known, at least.
And he's giggling at a story because a man's name is Cornfed. And even Sammy's like, well, I mean, his real name's Paul Snyder. He's not,
Yeah.
he's not a cartoon character.
God,
that's funny.
On a tougher subject.
Hilarious.
Because I think about this, I think about, the psychological difficulties of doing some of the things you did.
I think about ripping the
time you
life
killed
out of somebody.
somebody?
And let's be clear, these are things you did, not me. I'm going to put this squarely on you, is taking an innocent life. Perhaps a wife and mother who was merely doing her job, sucking the life out of that human being. That's something you did, Sam, and I like to think about the psychology of that.
It's really deep.
And every time thereafter, was it always the same feeling, or was there a time when, because a lot of it was at someone's direction. You were being
Do you
told.
get the same rush the second time, I guess is what I'm wondering. For example,
At what point do you not give a shit when you see the life leave someone's eyes?
if you hear your wife do her fake Hispanic accent for the 10,000th time, does it feel just as good to suck the life out of her? She's also a mother, so I imagine it would be a similar sensation to the first time I mean, you did that. Imagine, this guy took someone's life, and his question to Sammy the Bull is like, I mean, I can't even wrap my mind around what that would feel like.
Right?
Even Sammy's got to kind of be like, are you sure you can't relate to this?
No, never.
ordered.
That'd be great if he tells him and Sammy's just like, Jesus, you fucking did that.
I mean, yeah, in the Mafia, we had a code at least.
Women and children were off limits, dude.
Go back just a little bit.
Was it always the same feeling, or was there a time when, because a lot of it was at someone's direction? You were being told to do this. You were being ordered to do this. You were given a hit.
Doing it for fun, like me. You weren't just walking on set one day and wondering what it would be like for someone to be no more.
Did you have
the second time around, Sam? Are you also fully erect? May I ask you that?
You already know all the cops' information, and you got the excuses ready.
Yes. Should I continue using murders like Blue Chews to get me off? Is that a feeling that will continue in your estimation?
Do you think when Baldwin killed this lady, he dropped the gun like in The Godfather?
He just walked away.
You were given a hit. You were given a job. Did you have to medicate yourself to get yourself in that state to do that job? Do you either get jacked up and high and really, really kind of like a blind kind of
what's that?
Energy and power, or get numb? Were you always in a natural
feel
state?
Like you were God the way I did? Do you feel the true power of someone walking around this earth and then simply not because of a quick finger that you had?
Honestly, I don't see much of a difference between a hitman and an executive producer.
What was the sensation you felt when you realized that by simply playing with a prop gun, you could end a life? Sammy. This is Sammy. I'm asking this again.
Did you have to take a pill and take a couple of shots before you could do that? What was the state of mind?
First of all, I was always a hit to me was always in order. I never did a hit without an order.
You improvised.
I never did anything crazy like thinking a gun wouldn't be loaded on a set.
I never pointed a gun at anyone who didn't deserve it.
I never did anything wild like not checking with the armorer before I started playing with guns.
Don't bring up that bitch again.
That'd be great if Sammy kept poking digs at him.
Yeah, what are you gonna do about it?
I never did anything that stupid.
This next one is called Getting Italian.
I like when Alec gets down to the street level here. These are just two Mafia guys talking.
Johnny Keys, in the podcast, which I listened to nearly all of the podcast. I mean, I listened to a lot of it.
So you stopped right at the important information. I almost listened to the whole thing. It wasn't quite interesting enough for me to keep my attention the entire time.
I got through all the crib notes.
Honestly, like that was maybe one of the most interesting podcasts I've ever listened to.
It was great. So, by the way, Sammy in this interview, to be fully truthful, like Alec doesn't do. There's a lot of stuff that I found funny in it. But there's also some interesting stuff that Sammy talks about. And that Johnny Keys podcast that he did, awesome. Sammy says they're making a movie about it, which I hope they do it right because that is a great story.
The story was fantastic, and I hope it's not like although there's one I guess made for TV. It was an HBO movie called Gotti. That is one of my favorite mob movies ever. It came out
not the Kevin Connolly one, obviously.
No, it came out in 1996. It's on YouTube. It's starring Armand Asante. He's a fantastic John Gotti, but the movie's awesome.
Well, yeah, the Johnny Keys story, if they do it right, I mean, awesome. It's not interesting enough to keep Alec's attention for the full podcast, but I thought it was pretty good.
No, that whole entire thing, the way he went into the stories, like meeting the people, convincing him.
It's right for movies. So let's see what Alec thinks about it.
It's kind of ass.
To nearly all of the podcast. I mean, I listened to a lot of it, and you tell that story. It's a very powerful and very, romantic even story that you said this guy's more Cosa Nostra than any of us.
I said Cosa Nostra. Do you catch on to that?
What's a lot of? Oh yeah, go back. I meant to point that out. But what of a 45-minute podcast? What's a lot of it?
I listened to 22 minutes.
romantic even story that you said this guy's more Cosa Nostra than any of us.
Hey, he's a little more from the neighborhood, you know? He's a paisan. He's a friend of ours.
Yeah, for those who
I'm
don't
just
know,
Alec Baldwin shooting the shit with my good buddy Sam.
for those who don't know or aren't into the mob really, the only people that call the mob is like the media. They actually call it Cosa Nostra, which means this thing of ours.
And that's the mob, and Alec Baldwin refer to it that way.
Correct. Correct.
Even story that you said this guy's more Cosa Nostra than any of us, you know. He was old school, and he was like teaching you in the car or the van or whatever the fuck you were in.
That's the part I really liked.
Whatever the fuck.
Whatever the fuck. I ain't here to break balls, Sam.
He sounds like Tony Soprano there.
I ain't futzing around. Whatever the fuck you call it.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever the fuck.
I ain't got time to be learning words like vans or cars or whatever the fuck.
This is a great one too. How else can I kill?
Well, Sam, do you have any tips for me?
A hit for you in your career.
Let me take a sip of water.
Was it left to you to decide how?
Could you just walk on any movie set and point at any innocent woman?
I mean street, sorry. Misspoke.
Was it left to you to decide how? Again, I can only quote this kind of silly language of like Mafia lore and legend that somebody goes out.
I'm gonna disrespect and disregard everything you've ever done. This silly lore.
Your silly, whimsical jester lifestyle that you people hold so dear.
I love mob history. This is hurting my soul listening to Baldwin.
When you people would dance around in your silly outfits and play cops and robbers.
When it looked like you were coming back from the gym and you were like, get a job, you piece of shit.
Quote this kind of silly language of like Mafia lore and legend that somebody goes out and starts the car and the car blows up. Was that in your toolkit there? Was it always a gun?
Your toolkit. Hold on.
So,
was that in your bag of tricks?
If you don't know do you know what he's talking about there?
Casino?
No. So what happened was Paul Castellano was the boss of the Gambino family.
Yeah.
Paul Castellano gets killed. So they have to. So Vincent Gigante from the Genovese family went to get payback against Gotti and tried to blow up his car. But
oh yes, okay, yeah.
So Sammy's friend, I think it was Frankie DeChico, was in the car and blew up, and that was just him talking about it. His best friend was in the car.
Was that maybe Alex trying to get a scoop?
Was that a?
Have you ever
your friend
is part of any car bombings?
Your friend blew up right in front of your eyes. You ever do that?
Was that you?
Toolkit there? Was it always a gun and shooting somebody in the head, or were there other methods? Was there poisoning?
For example, if I were to slip something into my wife's food every day for a period of time,
how traceable is coffee poison?
I'm saying, in the future, do I have to be so blatant about it, or can I? Is there something more subtle I could pull off? You think?
Blowing up a car.
Jay Sharp says, I saw your mob history on iPad. That's a very funny comment.
It was tremendous. I nearly got through the whole podcast on iPad. They make it very palatable.
That'd be like if he got paid to do like a voice reading of an audiobook. He stopped at like page 80. He was like, good enough.
Very good. This was I've gotten the gist of this, and it's quite good.
Or were there other methods? Was there poisoning? Blowing up a car? Was there only one option for you, or there were multiple options?
No, that we didn't have Sammy's answer. We just had him saying, "Sammy, you got any tips for me? Come on."
Let me ask you guys a question. This is why we don't have Sammy's answer. Was there other methods other than gun to kill somebody? Yeah.
Meanwhile, sorry, go ahead.
It's just him going, yeah. But I think the next one is his answer.
Well, I just want to say that, like, let's not forget today, the husband of the woman, the cinematographer that Alec Baldwin killed, can find an interview where Alec is saying, like, hypothetically, how else could I do it? That just exists.
They're gonna use that in court too. They're gonna be like,
well, no, he's off scot-free. Double jeopardy, baby. He's done.
That's right. That is actually correct. I forgot about that. Let's see. Here's Sammy talking methods.
Okay.
We're face to face when I shoot you. You ain't getting away. So a gun to me is.
Yeah, let me write that down.
That's good. You ain't getting away. That's what I should have yelled at her.
So a knife is very, very right there in your face. I don't take chances. When I come after you, you're gonna die. So and you could use poison. I never used poison, never considered it. It was used once or twice that I know of. But
I wanted to see the look in their face, when they were truly terrified about losing their life.
So here's the thing, like with these interviews, like he just said, there's 2 uses of poison that I know of. It's like,
yeah,
do the cops know that? Like, did he talk about that already?
I think he means like tradition. I don't think he means specific uses. I mean like ways to use it.
Oh, okay. That's I guess.
So my thing was a gun.
Right. I thought maybe they'd over.
Me too.
I love the ringing in my ears for days.
Sammy, I can attest. Foolproof method.
Dose people.
I also liked it.
Dose people.
A gun.
Right. I thought maybe they'd overdose people or things like that.
Well, they do that in certain cases, but not me.
Right. You had
that
your
wasn't
method.
my thing. Yeah.
You had your signature. I have mine. We all of us murderers have our method.
Yeah.
That's what's important to remember.
Yeah, some people have a calling card. If you hear a gun go off and you hear whoops-a-daisies, that was me.
Oh, geez. That was sort of my catchphrase.
Oh, geez.
Uh-oh.
Whoops. This is 2 Mafia guys.
It's just a couple of fellas from the neighborhood, a couple of paisans.
Yeah.
That's right.
Trump, I'll use him as an example. He has a project going up.
What did you just
and
say?
I'm bidding the job. And he doesn't give me the job. So all of a sudden, the Teamster foreman has that gate shut. It doesn't open up at 7 or 8 in the morning. It opens up at 9 o'clock. The Teamster foreman is checking the trucks, their brakes, their lights, directional signals, everything.
He's breaking balls.
So I'm breaking balls. So he'll.
I'm speaking your language. He's breaking your brajol, right, Sammy?
Yeah, Trump's just breaking balls. That's the most sane I've ever been about him.
Yeah, he's cutting your cannoli. I understand, Sam. the way us fellas do.
This is our last video.
Oh no, we're already the last one.
We flew through these.
All right. This is him kind of talking about Alec, right? This is when Alec gets up and leaves.
This is mutual respect.
Oh, good. Yeah, this is him. There's a weird moment where Alec gets up and leaves the interview and then comes back to clear his throat or something. Sammy's just talking about him.
I'm doing an interview over here with Alec Baldwin. Who would have thunk that Sammy the Bull would be sitting down with Alec Baldwin? He's a good guy, this guy. It's like talking to a street guy. He's a tough guy. He's a good actor.
I think if we ever needed a job done, I think he could carry it out.
I like how they cut out the other shit that Sammy says when they're not recording, but they left that in and made jump cuts. He's great. He's a tough guy.
He's just like us. He's one of us street guys.
He's a street guy.
Oh, Sammy, that really means a lot to me. I did everything I could to get made.
Yeah.
I took that bitch out.
What a fucking awesome.
Yeah, I thought that was a fun one. We flew through it a lot quicker than I thought we would, but it was definitely a fun interview to watch.
Definitely. I mean, we just did like 30 something minutes on it.
All right. I guess that's it for this week. A little shorter than we've been doing, but 2 hours, that's enough for you people, no?
That's right. I mean, we were doing only an hour for years.
Yeah, so what the hell? Quit breaking as Alec Baldwin would say, quit breaking my balls.
Breaking my balls.
Come on. Oh, right. Sammy, right away, you're getting fucking fresh with me.
Do you think Alec will be in that movie?
I hope so. He was kind of angling towards it a little bit. He's like,
I hope he's
any-
Johnny Keys.
Sammy, you ever need any favors done in the future, you know who to call.
He's gonna be Johnny Keys, and it's gonna be perfect.
Oh, right away, you're getting fucking fresh. Sammy, come on. Don't talk to me. You're a little bit. You were being, what's fucking De Niro say? God damn it, I'm fucking up the line.
A little
You were
bit.
taking it very personally.
Yeah.
I was doing the wrong line, so I couldn't do the voice.
You're doing like everyone's impression of De Niro, though. A little bit.
You're
Little
taking
bit.
it very personally, Sam. Now go get your fucking shine box.
No.